There has been quite a bit of news regarding Halo surfacing since E3 2018. Now with Gamescom beginning this week in Cologne, Germany, there is bound to be more Halo news. And more news there was. It was announced that Halo, the Master Chief Collection, would be coming to Xbox Game Pass on September 1st. Which begs the questions, what's going to happen to the Insider? And what's changing in the MCC with this big update? Well, today we're going to talk about the future of the MCC Insider, what's going to change when the update goes live, and the future of the MCC post-update.
Are you alright?
It was confirmed by Sketch from 343 Industries in the most recent Halo MCC Insider flight update on Halo Waypoint that the Insider program will still remain active even after the retail update goes live. However, it will act as more of a test realm for updates that will be added to the MCC in the future, rather than a separate beta-like program like it is right now. You could essentially say that the MCC Insider will transform into Halo's version of the Battlefield CTE, which it already bears a small resemblance to in its current state. For those of you unaware about what the Battlefield CTE is, it's a build of Battlefield where players can test out new content such as weapons, in-game items, equipment, maps, and other features in a testing environment before it goes live to the retail version. I mean, that was a pretty dumbed down description of the CTE, but you can still see the resemblance, right? However, there is one catch. Insider members who either 1. Own the MCC digitally, or 2. Are subscribed to Game Pass once the update drops, continue to have access to the MCC Insider. However, those who aren't Game Pass subscribers or own the game physically will no longer have access to the Insider unless they meet one of the first 2 listed criteria. The reason given by Sketch for this is that there is no viable entitlement system for physical discs in play to allow people who own the game physically to continue to have access to the Insider without being subscribed to Game Pass. The reasoning seems to be sound, I guess, but I still think it's kind of stupid that I have to subscribe to Game Pass or buy a whole nother copy of the game in digital form just to continue to be part of the Insider program. Especially because the current Insider build doesn't seem to have the same entitlement issue. Then again, I don't have the first clue as to what goes into running something like the Insider alongside the retail game, so I'll just suck it up for now and hope that this gets resolved for those who don't want to shell out more money but want to continue to support the development of Halo. Now with that brief update on the current and future status of the Insider out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the next iteration of the MCC, dubbed MCC 2.0 by some of the community. This will essentially be the version of the MCC that we get once this update drops, and I can guarantee you it will be very different from the current build of the MCC. So without further ado, let's talk about MCC 2.0. I've already gone over how the MCC is being added to Game Pass on September 1st, but what can we expect from this update? If you're currently an insider or have been keeping up with the MCC developmental updates on Halo Waypoint, you may already have a general idea of what's to come. Some things we know for sure, and this is the long list, are the 4K Xbox One X enhancements, party matching, completely reworked UI and menu, intelligent delivery, dedicated servers, reworking of available playlists and multiplayer, LAN functionality, lighting and sound fixes across various Halo games, the ability to change the language independent of the Xbox's region setting, and various matchmaking changes to name a few of those things. I will highlight a few of these changes and go in depth on the ones that aren't easily deciphered by their title. First off, party matching. Party matching will make it to where parties will be more likely to find other parties rather than being put against solo queue players. I mean, I have a whole video in the works explaining the benefits of party matching and the issues it causes for solo queue players when party matching isn't in the game. Party matching will attempt to match parties against other parties of equal size and skill, which should, in theory, lower the amount of blowout games of parties playing against solo queue players and farming them or pub stomping them or whatever you want to call it. There will also be an all-new menu layout, see the screenshots on the screen if you haven't already noticed them or seen them already. With the ability to lower the main menu music also being thrown in there, because a lot of people complained that the main menu music in retail MCC is really loud, which I agree with. This new menu is much sleeker and streamlined, and gone are the days of the clunky and cluttered MCC menu. Finally. Next, the available playlists are being cut down drastically as well. The main reason is so the population of the available playlists can be larger, making games easier and quicker to find. 343 Industries will also be adding rotational playlists into the MCC, much like Halo 5 has. This is to keep the matchmaking experience fresh and allow players to play their favorite playlists that may have been cut out or not present at all in the retail MCC. This will also help keep the population coming back week after week to play new playlists. LAN functionality will allow multiple consoles to play on the same local area network, or LAN, which is the method used in tournaments to maintain the lowest amount of latency without requiring all the players to be on the same Xbox. This will make the MCC much more suitable for esports tournaments, which is evident by Halo 3 MCC 2v2 tournaments making an appearance at DreamHack this year in Atlanta, Georgia. Intelligent Delivery, which has been heavily advertised by 343 Industries in their updates and on the Insider itself, is the ability to install each part of the MCC individually, rather than having to install the entire game in order to play. This is useful if you have a very limited amount of space on your Xbox and don't plan on playing certain parts of the MCC enough to justify having them taking up that precious space. I will have various MCC updates and blog posts linked in the description if you want to look more into some of the features that this update will bring to the game. Or if you actually, have questions about some of these features that I went over or that weren't even present in this video. So, with that being said, we have talked about MCC 2.0. Let's go ahead and talk about the future of MCC post-update. What's the post-update support going to be like? How's the game going to change a little bit when it comes to future updates? So without further ado, let's take a look at the future of the MCC post-update. For those of you who are sad that what you want to be added to the MCC wasn't mentioned in this video or any of the updates you've read thus far, have no fear. There is currently an active MCC Wish-list thread on the Halo Waypoint forums where you can converse with others and post some of the things you'd like to see added to the MCC in the future. It's important to remember that this first update isn't going to be the only one. The MCC and its future support by 343 Industries is dynamic. It will change and evolve over time. For example, it's been confirmed that 343 Industries plans on implementing a custom games browser into the MCC later on down the road. One thing I'd like to see change in the MCC is the armor customization. I'd like to see it revamped to more resemble the customization of the classic games, like being able to change independent parts of my Spartan's armor rather than being forced to wear a full set of a specific variant and calling it a day. I also wouldn't mind a military-based ranking system that isn't tied to skill, just so the game has some form of progression rather than grinding. To keep players coming back. Think of Halo Reach's ranking system. It wasn't skill-based and just added a layer of progression that certainly kept me coming back to try to hit that inheritor rank. And it could exist alongside skill-based ranking like the game already has, like Spartan rank, CSR, whatever they call it. For the record, I never made it anywhere close to Inheritor, but the ranking system definitely prolonged my interest in Halo Reach. I've already voiced both of these wishes in the wishlist thread on Halo Waypoint, and I heavily invite you to do the same for your ideas. I will leave a link to the MCC Wishlist thread in the description as well, so be sure to check that out. I know this little portion didn't have very much information about the future of the MCC, but there's not really much to say. They're just going to continue to update it. They have a wishlist thread. Give them some ideas. Go ahead and stir the pot. We, the community, will build the future of the MCC and what's added or changed in the game. So make your voices heard and go on there, onto Halo Waypoint, anywhere you can, and voice your opinions. With that being said, I think we're about to come to the conclusion of this video. Now that I've gone over some of the most recent news regarding Halo MCC, the Insider, and the future of both, I think it's time to bring this video to a close. The MCC is finally getting the revival and support it deserves, and I am proud to say that I've been a part of this process ever since its inception. I have played quite a bit of both Halo MCC and the Insider since the game's launch in 2014 and the Insider's inception earlier this year. Halo is something that I'm very passionate about, and I will continue to do everything I can to support the development of both old and new games. I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you found it helpful and informational. And I will see you in the next one. Auf Wiedersehen.